There is one holiday that has hundreds, maybe thousands of movies made about it. And that holiday is Christmas. But second place goes to Halloween. Some of the best movies and TV show specials are made for Halloween. Everyone has fond memories of at least one of these things. Whether it's Halloween Town, The Scary Godmother, or It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. They're all incredible and fun movies to watch that instantly get anyone excited for the holiday. And then there are some iconic TV specials like the Treehouse of Horror segments from The Simpsons, or the Modern Family Halloween episodes, or that one episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody where Esteban gets possessed by a ghost and it low-key freaked me out as a kid. They're all great, but there is one episode of a TV show that can be considered a TV movie to some that I think encapsulates the vibes of the holiday so well that I think it's probably the best Halloween special ever. And it's an episode from everyone's favorite kids horror show, Goosebumps. And that episode is, of course, The Haunted Mask. The Haunted Mask was most people's introduction to Goosebumps, probably because it was the first episode. But whether you watched it the night it premiered on October 27th in 1995, or many years later in October for some Halloween event on Cartoon Network, that was my experience. It's universally loved for being more like a kid's horror movie than an episode of Goosebumps. It traumatized many kids and gave many other kids their love for horror. Now for many, including myself, The Haunted Mask is a must-watch during the Halloween season, because it brings back the nostalgia feeling of the holiday that we all miss so much. When the episode originally aired on the Fox Halloween special, it was estimated to have over 14 million people watching it. And you can actually find the full original airing of the episode here on YouTube with the commercials and all. I actually didn't know that the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt introduced the episode, and I think that's really dang cool. The massive success of this instantly made The Haunted Mask its most iconic and recognizable story, despite it being the 11th book in the original run of books. And there's no set record of which Goosebumps book sold the most, but it's probably this one. It sold 1.14 million copies alone, and I'm like 70% sure it's because of this episode. And the VHS for this episode sold 2.5 million copies in just 1 year. It's so popular that it even broke out of the Goosebumps fandom into the cultural zeitgeist. A ton of people will know what you're talking about when you bring it up at any social gathering, and this helped it get translated so that other countries can read the wonderful story as well. It's also cool seeing the different art for the covers of the books. The original one is literally iconic. I'm wearing a shirt of it right now, actually, and everybody knows what it is. But some of the other covers are actually a little scary, like the French cover and the Korean cover. But I think the scariest one by far is the Vietnamese cover. Ugh. And you know what you're supposed to do when something is really popular? You do it again, and then again, and then again, and then again. The mask shows up in a total of 15 of the Goosebumps books. 6 of them are just in the Goosebumps Horrorland series alone. And the most recent one is actually the Goosebumps graphics comic book of the story. I actually went out and bought it and read it, so I'll be diving deeper into it here in a little bit. It was also the first episode of the new Goosebumps series on Disney+, and of course it shows up in the 2015 movie with like almost every other Goosebumps monster, so it'd kind of be weird if it wasn't there. And it even appears in 3 different Goosebumps video games. The first being the mobile game Goosebumps Horror Town, and the other being Goosebumps the game, where you can pick it up as an item and then use it to scare away the beast from the east. And I haven't played it yet, but I believe it's in the new Goosebumps game Terror in Little Creek that literally just released. I think it's just a cosmetic mask though, but it's still pretty cool. It also probably has the most merchandise for any Goosebumps story ever. There's a ton. There's even some still being released today, like the Trick or Treat Studios action figure just came out, and they also recreated the mask, and of course the pop figure, which is right behind me in every single one of my videos. Hell, I realized I didn't have a Haunted Mask shirt, so I ordered this and got it in 3 days. Look at it, it's pretty cool, it's pretty cool. I like this one. All this just to say it's loved by everyone. But I know the real reason you're here. You want to see me break the episode down. So let's quit yapping and get into the episode. After the sponsor, because this video is definitely getting demonetized. We've all been there. You're laying in bed, scrolling through your favorite social media platforms, then bam! You're hit with the worst headache imaginable. Then your stomach starts churning and you can actually feel your body breaking down into dust and bones. You try your best to fix it, you take a couple of painkillers, drink some water, do anything really, but nothing seems to be working. And it's too late to go to the doctor, so suddenly you're searching some weird symptoms, spiraling at 11 p.m., convincing yourself that it's something dramatic because one website tells tells you it'll go away in 10 minutes, while another says you have 10 minutes left to live. This exact scenario happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I just got back home from a trip and I was laying in bed with a sore throat, a headache, and a really bad cough. I took some pain medicine and drank some water to try and ease the pain, and then I just laid there in bed, miserable, hoping it would go away. So finally, I decided to just look up my symptoms, and I got so many different things, from a common cold to the flu to COVID to the plague. Okay, the plague is a little dramatic, but it's still, you get the idea. Now imagine if I could have just booked a real doctor, someone in network with availability in the next day or two, and who actually felt like the right fit. Well, that's the beauty of today's sponsor, ZocDoc. You don't have to wait for the office to open just to be put on hold. You can find and book a doctor instantly, all before your head even hits the pillow. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and then click to instantly book an appointment. From mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and everything in between. ZocDoc makes it easy to book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers. You can filter doctors by insurance, location, and specialties, and see reviews by verified patients so you can choose the best, most convenient care for you. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically within 24 hours to 72 hours of booking. And you can even score same-day appointments. No need to call the doctor's office and wait on hold either. ZocDoc lets you do everything online so that you can quickly make an appointment and get on with your day. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/KingNewsMe. That's ZocDoc.com/KingNewsMe to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. And it's also linked in the video description. And thank you so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video. Now let's see how scary this haunted mask is. The episode starts with our man R.L. Stine introducing us to the episode, which I'm sure he wanted to do with every episode in the series, but bro has the acting chops of a wet towel. Just imagine if he played himself in the 2015 movie. I say that like I'm any better at acting. Like, who is this guy? What? Sadly, he doesn't say anything worth mentioning, really. He just explains the story before it happens. But he does say,
"Viewers beware, you're in for a scare."
Then we fade to two girls walking up to a new novelty shop that just appeared in their town with a bunch of spooky masks in the window. And I don't mean to stop the video this early on, but I think this window full of masks was the inspiration for the Horrorland story, The Scream of the Haunted Mask. The cover and this wall just look very similar to me. We learn that the blonde girl is named Carly Beth, and she seems to be entranced by all the spooky stuff in the windows. But her friend Sabrina is more creeped out by the shop than anything. So she drags Carly Beth away as a creepy man glares at them from the window. Cut to a pumpkin patch where the two girls are looking for a pumpkin. What else would they be doing in there? It is really late and also really creepy outside, and this has Carly Beth a little spooked to be in the pumpkin patch. She claims to be hearing things all around them, but it's probably just her imagination, and it's a pretty well-known fact that Carly Beth is a scaredy cat, and everything freaks her out. And despite her uncertainty while inside the patch, Carly walks up to the only good pumpkin left, but that's when the hay around it starts moving on its own, and a hand reaches out for her. Luckily, she backs up just in time, but then a pumpkin-headed monster comes out of the ground and starts chasing her, while another flanks around her and they capture her. But it was their friends, Chuck and Steve, who love playing pranks on Carly Beth because she's just so easy to scare. She's the easiest target in town. But to be fair, if a pumpkin-headed man crawled out of the ground and chased after me, I think I would freak out as well. I think she's pretty valid to be scared at that. This little prank pisses Carly off so much that she just storms away from everyone, even Sabrina, who's trying to tell her that she had nothing to do with the prank. After realizing Sabrina is telling the truth, she talks to her about how annoying and out of hand their pranks are getting. Like they've thrown a dead octopus on her in front of the whole school, and it's just been really tough for her lately. Excuse me, are you laughing right now? Sabrina apologizes about them being the worst humans ever, but she does say that they only pick on her because she's so easily scared. And Carly Beth doesn't like this fact about herself, and she feels like no one understands her and that she really doesn't like being scared at all. And then she storms off without grabbing a pumpkin. Were you watching them this whole time? That's a little weird. Carly Beth walks all the way home, where she is greeted by her mom, who has an interesting gift for her. It's her. Or her head, at least. She obviously loves that her mom made her a gift, but she does admit that it's a little creepy. She's also confused at why her mom would make something that looks like her, and her mom tells her that she made it because she loves her. It's almost like a token of her love for her daughter, which I find very sweet. She's obviously put a lot of care and attention into making this, so Carly carefully sets it down and then freaks out because
it smiled at me.
Listen, I'm also a little creeped out by the bust, but it's plaster. There's no way it smiled at you. And as Carly Beth is walking away, her mom tells her that she actually made her a Halloween costume this year. She made her a duck costume because a couple of months ago, she saw a duck at the mall and they mentioned that it would be fun to be a duck for Halloween. So her mom made her a costume. Honestly, her mom's a saint. She's so sweet. She's probably the best parent in all of the series, maybe all of television. Sadly, Carly Beth doesn't want to be something cute this year for Halloween. She wants to be something scary for once. Wait, hold up. No, it did smile. It did smile. You saw that too, right? No, I'm not crazy. You saw it smile. You tell me you saw it smile right now. Carly makes her way upstairs to her room, but hesitates because she can hear noises on the other side. She can't really make out what it is, so she slowly opens the door and... Oh no, Tweety Bird has gone crazy! Oh, never mind, it's her little brother. Just another person who picks on her for being such a big scaredy cat, which is the perfect way to end this terrible night. The next day at school, Chuck and Steve apologize for scaring her so bad the day before, and they brought her a peace offering, which is just a plastic pumpkin that laughs. But this is all just a ruse to keep her distracted while they put live worms in her sandwich. What is wrong with these two kids? That's diabolical. That is disgusting. And as you probably guessed, she eventually does take a bite out of her sandwich and absolutely freaks out when she notices what they've done. Carly Beth panics as the whole school points and laughs at her. Hey, who are you laughing at? You're dressed as a clown. She is so embarrassed that she literally just runs all the way home and cries. Also, I don't know where else to put this in the video, so I'm gonna bring it up right now. Everyone in this episode comes back for the sequel episode, The Haunted Mask 2, where Steve finds a haunted mask. I wanted to do both episodes in this video, but I think that one deserves its own video a year from now on Halloween. Keep them coming back. I just think it deserves its own video because it's also got a lot to break down. And it's also, it's a lot better than the second book, but I'm going to be talking about that in that video. Also, Catherine Short, the girl who plays Sabrina in this episode, she is also in the episode A Night in Terror Tower as Sue. And I think she's the only one that is in another Goosebumps episode. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. Carly Beth has had it with all the pranks and being the easy target for everyone to pick on. And in her anger, she rips up the duck costume that her mom made for her. But like, why did you do that? It wasn't your mom's fault you're getting picked on, man. But finally, Carly decides it's her turn to scare everyone. So she grabs all the money she saved up and heads over to the new shop with all the scary masks in the window. She takes a look around, but nothing's really jumping out at her. Except for the creepy man.
What are you doing here?
He tells her that they're closed, but the door was unlocked. Hey, I'm just saying, man, if you're closed, maybe lock the door and people won't come inside. But Carly Beth tells him that she just wants a scary mask and then she'll leave. So he gives her 5 minutes to look around while he takes a call. And as she looks around, she does find some interesting masks, to say the least. Like this one that looks like me if I turned into a werewolf. But once again, nothing is really jumping out at her until she spots another room in the back. She sneaks her way in and finds a bunch of science equipment and 6 terrifying masks on display. Fun fact, these masks are actually based on the 7 deadly sins. I'd imagine the mask she uses in this episode is the one for envy because she wants to be the scariest one. She's envious of that. And then the fat one is obviously gluttony, but I cannot tell you which one is which after those two. Like, what the hell sin is this? It better not be lust. Anyways, Carly Beth gravitates towards the terrifying green mask on the end. But just as she was about to grab it,
No!
the shopkeeper stops her. And while Carly Beth has her back turned, all the masks come to life and look around equally as terrified as her. She apologizes for intruding somewhere she wasn't supposed to be, but the shopkeeper just ignores her and tells her that she's not supposed to be in there. He also tells her that the masks that are back there are not for sale because they are too frightening. But that's perfect for Carly because she wants to be the scariest out there. So she obviously needs the scariest mask. The shopkeeper tries his best to convince Carly to go with literally any other mask in the store. He'll even give her one for free if she just chooses one besides these ones. But she really wants that green one, so she gives her the sob story about her and Chuck and Steve and how she wants to get revenge on them for scaring her all these years. But even still, the shopkeeper doesn't want to sell them to her. Actually, he says he can't sell them to her. She even offers him all the money she has for the mask.
Here, 30 bucks. It's everything I have.
God dang, $30 for a mask? In 1995? Honestly, I'd pay $30 for that mask today. It's freaking $60 at Spirit Halloween, bro. Don't mean to rant, but I bought a fucking Sam mask at Spirit Halloween last year. 70 bucks. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Even still, he opens the door and tells her that she needs to leave immediately, so she does. But not before grabbing the mask first.
Here's your money.
Hey, she's honestly kind of smooth there. That was a little impressive. She makes it all the way out of the store with the mask, and then reality hits her really hard. She realizes what she's doing and then turns around to return the mask, but the shopkeeper closes the door and locks her out.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna make Chuck and Steve wish they never, ever met me.
When she gets home, she immediately puts on the mask and checks herself out, and she's honestly pretty scary looking. So scary that she has to test it out. So she jump scares her little cockroach of a brother into crying for his mommy. By the way, I'm not being mean. He is literally a cockroach for Halloween. And after she gets a good scare out of him and admits that it's her, she tries to take the mask off, but it doesn't come off. She starts tugging at it really hard, but nothing's budging. She starts to panic and oh, it came off. Whew. I thought it was gonna like fuse to her head or something. That would be crazy. Her little brother Noah is still a little spooked by the jump scare, but not because of the mask itself, but because her voice changed to an almost completely different voice.
Hey, Noah. Stay away! No!
And Carly Beth isn't entirely sure how she did that, but she likes that she did. And since she knows the mask works now, she gets ready to head off to Sabrina's to go trick-or-treating. But this time when she puts the mask on, it seems to morph to her face. And you know, the mask is scary and all, but it's missing something. She grabs a broomstick out of the closet and then grabs the plaster head her mom made of her. And she puts the head on the stick and then adds a red cloth underneath it so it looks like her head is bleeding, which is a little intense for a kid's show now that I think about it. But honestly, when I was a kid, I was too stupid to realize that that was supposed to be blood. Whoops. And as she's about to head out, her mom asks to see her cute little duck costume and almost catches her in her new terrifying costume. Luckily, she's saved by her dad calling the phone. As Carly Beth starts to walk over to Sabrina's house, she starts acting pretty odd. She's grunting and growling at everyone, even these dogs for some reason, and she's scaring whole groups of kids. Man, this mask is really getting to her head. Even though she's already scaring everyone, it seems, her main goal is to really scare Chuck and Steve, who should be at Sabrina's house any minute now.
Chuck and Steve?
Right on time. Carly Beth sneaks up behind the two and jumps out at the two boys, and it's just little boys. Uh-oh. The fact that it isn't Chuck and Steve pisses her off so bad that she starts to just yell at these two kids for not being her frenemies, which makes her look insane. Not like she didn't before, but still. All the ruckus outside alerts Sabrina, who is genuinely shocked at how scary Carly Beth's costume is this year. Carly Beth asks where Chuck and Steve are, but it looks like they're not going to go straight to Sabrina's house this time, so they'll have to catch up or find them while they're trick-or-treating. Which bums Carly Beth out because she really wants to scare them, but it's no biggie, they'll find them soon enough, and she'll probably have a better chance at scaring the shit out of them. So the girls head off to start their eventful night, and they're still walking. Did they have to show this much of them walking? While walking around, Sabrina touches the mask, and she's taken aback because the mask feels like real human skin. She thinks it's super gross, and she also doesn't like how warm it feels. And then she goes on and on about it until Carly Beth has had enough. You okay there, bud? You kind of crashed out there a little bit. She tries to play it off like she was just scaring Sabrina, but it seemed a little too real for a second there. They ignore that little incident and continue trick-or-treating, where they have an encounter with some toddlers who thinks Carly Beth's mask is a little too scary. But of course their mom tells them that it's all fake, she won't actually hurt them. And then Carly Beth leans down and threatens the poor little girl and scares her so bad that she runs away crying. And then Carly Beth threatens the mom and then steals candy and runs away. Yeah, something's a little off about our timid, sweet Carly Beth right now. And that has Sabrina confused as to why her best friend is acting so crazy. Sabrina confronts her about her acting so strange, and Carly Beth claims that it's the mask. The mask is making her do all these unhinged things. And not in a method actor kind of way, but literally the mask is making her more violent. Even when Sabrina mentions cutting the trick-or-treating a little short, Carly Beth lashes out at her and says that it's her night to be scary and not the scaredy cat she always is. And she runs away to cause more mischief and scare anyone who dares get in her way. Then we cut to the Ada Grove Cemetery, where Chuck and Steve are just hanging out. I would say it's weird for them to just be hanging out in a cemetery, but me and my friends hung out in cemeteries as teens. Is that a normal thing to do? Were we weird? Were we the weird ones? They just finished their trick-or-treating and now it's time to check out their loot. Get it? Because they're pirates. And as Carly Beth is being a literal menace to society, she overhears the two boys in the cemetery dancing and singing and laughing. So she can finally do what she's been itching to do all night and scare the eye patches off them. Okay, so I was gonna gloss over this scene because it's not really important to the story, but there's a scene where Chuck scares Steve and then he laughs way too hard about it way too long.
I don't see anything.
Real funny.
It annoyed me so bad as a kid, and it only annoys me even more as an adult. Like, it's not that funny, bro. Calm down. He even laughs so loud and so long that it gives Carly Beth enough time to sneak up really close to them. Oh god, is that the visibility in the mask? Good lord, I'm surprised she's not tripping over everything. But just as Carly Beth gets really close, she accidentally breaks a stick, and it spooks the boys a little bit. Luckily, they're deaf or something because they're looking in the completely wrong direction, which gives Carly Beth the perfect time to jump out and scare the hell out of them. She does actually get them really good, but just a simple jump scare isn't enough for her. She digs deep and tells the boys that the head on the stick is her actual head. And she says that Carly Beth didn't want to give up her head, but the monster took it anyways. That's some real Jeepers Creepers shit right there. Somehow this little story works on the boys, and that tied with the spooky voice that she's putting on really has them shivering. And then she tells the boys to apologize to Carly Beth for scaring and pranking her so much. But they don't apologize. They just make excuses like, we were just messing around. Oh, you're just messing around? Okay, buddy, let's see how far that gets you in court. She pressures the guys so much that both of them get on their knees and beg for her to stop. But she is not letting up until they apologize to Carly Beth. And finally, after a lot of yelling, they give in and apologize to the fake plaster head.
Help me.
No, you had to have seen it that time. That definitely happened. Somehow the fake head speaks to the boys and calls out for help. This doesn't only scare the two boys so much that they run away screaming, but it also scares Carly Beth a little bit. She drops the stick in terror, but the sound of her frenemies crying and running overpower the terror that she feels, and she starts howling like a wolf. For some reason. After they get far enough away, she picks up the plaster head, digs a shallow hole, and buries the head in it. She uses this as a symbol. She's burying her past self, so she won't be a scaredy cat anymore. Later, Sabrina finds Carly Beth in the streets, and they both head over to Sabrina's house. Oh no, is this another scene of them just walking? Oh god, is this one longer? Inside, they look at all the delicious candy they got while running around. And since the night is over, Carly Beth decides to take off her sweaty mask. So she tugs at it and it won't come off. Oh, it's no biggie. It happened before. It gets a little stuck sometimes, you know? So she asks Sabrina to help her. But when Sabrina looks, she notices that the mask doesn't have a bottom. It's fused to her skin. Of course, Carly Beth doesn't believe her. She thinks she's pulling another mean prank on her. So she looks in the mirror and sees it for herself. And then she starts to notice things that she didn't notice before, like her eyes. They've changed color.
They're not my eyes, Sabrina. My eyes don't look like that.
They're green now and not blue. They're not her eyes. Carly Beth panics and sprints out of Sabrina's house into the streets, where she runs into more trick-or-treaters, who she scares away, but not on purpose this time. The mask is just too frightening, and it freaks everyone out so much that they literally run away from her. Carly Beth doesn't know what to do. She's panicking, so she runs all the way back to the mask's shop, where the shopkeeper was waiting on her to return.
I was expecting you.
He explains to Carly Beth that she cannot remove the mask because it's not a mask. It's a real face. And that's why it feels like human skin. All of the masks he has behind him are real human faces. And they were all once very beautiful, but over time the faces began to deform and decay until they were ugly and horrifying. He calls them the unloved ones because no one wanted something so hideous and revolting until Carly Beth came around. She was the only person who wanted one, but now things have changed. Carly Beth doesn't want it anymore. She does want the face off of her face, but she just doesn't understand. It won't come off. Carly Beth breaks down into tears at the thought that she ruined her own life just to scare someone. And this is when the shopkeeper says,
There may be one possibility.
he tells her that the mask will come off only one more time, and she has to do it with a symbol of love. Then we get a little bit of a backstory to the mysterious shopkeeper. He made the faces because he is like Carly Beth. He didn't love himself, and he found it easier to hide behind a mask than face the truth. But even while hiding, it didn't make the way he felt about himself go away. And ultimately, his ugly feelings towards himself is the reason the masks are now hideous, and it's also the reason the one he's wearing right now is changing. Carly Beth once again starts to panic and beg for him to help her get this mask off her face. But all the shouting has awakened the other faces, and they're very upset at her. They start slowly floating towards her, calling out to her, telling her to stay with them. Luckily, she escapes to the streets, but this doesn't stop them. The faces persist and chase her all the way to the cemetery, where she buried the bust. She quickly tries to dig up the bust of her old face as the masks get closer and closer, begging her to join them forever. And she takes so long to dig up the plaster head that the other faces have now surrounded her, dancing around her, calling out to her. Luckily, she manages to rip the head out of the ground right in time. She holds the head up towards the others, shouting at them.
This is Carly Beth. I am Carly Beth. This is me.
And it's just enough to scare the other faces away. And it releases the mask that was fused to her head. She picks up the plaster mask and then realizes why it worked. Her mom made this plaster version of her face as a symbol of her love for her. Her mother's love saved her life. Or her face, at least. And she takes the plaster head and runs all the way home, where she is greeted by her little brother, who's terrified and says,
Carly Beth, please take that mask off. Please, Carly Beth, please.
Carly Beth checks the closest mirror and sees she's just herself. He was just being a little cockroach, and that time I'm trying to be mean. Carly finds her mom and gives her the biggest hug ever and tells her that she loves her. Of course, her mom has heard about her acting so strange all night and running off multiple times throughout the night, so she's a little upset, but Carly Beth just tells her that she's had a strange night and she'll tell her all about it later. But they hear some noises behind them, and when they turn around, she sees her little brother Noah is now wearing the haunted mask.
Trick or treat.
Then we fade back to R.L. Stein, who asks his mom and dad if the episode was too scary, and it looks like they're good. And that's the end of the episode. Hey you! Me? Are you lonely? No, I have a girlfriend, so... Do you cuddle with your pillow and sob at night? What? Where it sounds like you need the King Noose Me plushie, a perfect companion that kinda looks like that guy on YouTube you saw once. The King Noose Me plushie can do so much, like be cute, sit on a shelf, judge you silently. He's a great cuddle buddy at night, just make sure you sleep with one eye open. Why? Don't you worry about it. Visit GiveMeSwag.com or click the link in the description to order one now to November 6th. I'm gonna order one right now!
Warning, King Noose Me plush is unstable and could wake up at any moment. If this happens, find cover and don't answer any of his questions. It will be the last thing you do.
I don't know if I want one anymore. God, what an incredible episode and story, period. I think it was genius to start the series off with this episode. They did a great job, and the episode still holds up today. And I personally think it's gonna stay that way forever. It's a timeless classic. They did an incredible job adapting the story in a way that made the characters feel like real people with real people issues. Every insecure kid could relate to Carly Beth in this episode. We've all had times where we hated ourselves and we wanted to change and be someone else entirely, and this episode helps kids realize that you're fine just the way you are. And if you start trying to change that, you'll turn into a hideous monster scaring kids forever. So it's either you be yourself or be disgusting, so, you know, choose a side. If you're a fan of the show Goosebumps, you'll know that as the seasons go on, the show does get more silly than anything, except for season 4 when they tried to backtrack a little bit and make it scary again. But it's crazy seeing how it started so serious and actually pretty damn scary. Just the vibes alone in this episode are really unsettling. And when you have spooky things like the plaster head smiling and talking every once in a while, or the masks coming to life throughout the episode, when you add just weird paranormal stuff to keep you uneasy, that just adds so much that you don't even think about. Honestly, the scene with the masks coming to life and chasing Carly Beth were always the scariest to me. I think it's just the idea of inanimate objects coming to life. It just freaked me out as a kid. Maybe that's why I've made so many videos about scary dolls. But even though the heads chasing Carly Beth throughout the street scared me so bad as a kid, as an adult, it does look pretty goofy now that I look at it. I look at it now and I'm like, why was I ever scared of that? What? The kid's mind, man. Especially when they like scamper away from her like poorly made little head. It's hilarious. It's also really funny seeing Carly Beth just jump at people randomly throughout the episode. But it's really something that people would do during the Halloween time, which I think helps this episode feel like it's more Halloween than anything. All these other TV shows that make Halloween specials, they forget to add like a little pizzazz, add little things that people actually do on Halloween, like just scaring kids randomly, like she did the whole episode, or finding your friends on the streets and then also trying to scare them because it's funny. And to be honest, if I had a mask that looked like hers hers when I was a kid, I'd probably be running around scaring kids too. Speaking of the mask, it looks incredible in this episode. They really knocked the mask out of the park. They did an amazing job. And I really love the scene where she puts on the mask and then it suctions to her face. That like one little scene adds so much detail to the episode. And I also love how it looks like her literal face for most of the episode. I do wish the mouth moved a bit more, but it also does kind of help it feel like it's still a mask on her head and not just like her face. I'm also super angry that Papa Meat, the YouTuber, has the actual mask because I wanted it. Did I have the money for it? No. I still wanted it. On a real note, the prop still looks really good after 30 years, and Papa Meat did get it restored. It still has a few missing teeth and stuff, but it looks really good now. I'm glad that somebody like him that like appreciates the show, I'm glad somebody like him got it, and not just some dude that's gonna put it on display and then let it rot away, you know? Okay, maybe it's me being blinded by nostalgia, but I think this episode absolutely rocks. It's definitely one of the best episodes of Goosebumps, probably one of the best episodes of anything ever. And while the episode does do a great job at adapting the book, there are of course some differences that I should point out. First of all, the beginnings are entirely different. In the book, they start at school and Chuck and Steve scare Carly Beth at a science fair thing, and then later at lunch, they put the worms in her sandwich. But the episode starts with them scaring her in a pumpkin patch, which I think I like more, honestly. Another reason this episode feels very Halloween to me, because you know, Halloween equal pumpkin. Everybody knows that. And the shopkeeper in the book is a little more sinister than he is in the episode. In the book, he actually sells Carly Beth the mask, but just warns her about it. In the episode, he didn't want to give it to her at all. He actually tried to take it away from her. He's just more kind in the episode, kind of. And he's actually kind of tragic compared to the dude in the story. They also give him a reason for making the masks in the episode, but they don't explain why he made them in the book. But I'm glad they gave him a reason to make the mask so he could connect with both Carly Beth and the audience a little bit. They really added more to the shopkeeper in the episode that I like. I don't know if that's a hot take, but also Carly Beth doesn't bury the plaster head in the book. She just gets scared when it talks and then she drops it and leaves it on the ground in the cemetery. Also, while she's being chased by the unloved ones in the book, she slips the plaster head over her own head, which scares them away. In the episode, she kind of just waves them around at it a little bit and they're like, oh God, I'm so scared. And lastly, there are only 6 masks in the episode, 7 if you count the one on the shopkeeper's face. But in the book, there's actually 12 masks. I think it'll be a little bit scarier if there was more masks chasing you than 6. If I had 12 of them, yeah, I'd be freaking the hell out. Now, I mentioned earlier that there is a comic of the story that recently came out, and I gotta say, I freaking love this shit, man. If you love the episode or the book or both, and you haven't read the comic book, you definitely should. There's all kinds of cool Goosebumps references hidden in there, like there's an R.L. Stein mask. There's the dog from the intro is on a poster in the mask shop. And every once in a while, they'll hide a Goosebumps G somewhere in a panel. Like right here, one of the ears of the mask is a G. It even has some pop cultural references like Bart Simpson and Freddy Fazbear. The book also does an incredible job at adapting the story. It's almost a 1-for-1 of the book. And the art style is a little cartoony, but there are some pretty horrifying panels in there, trust me. I also love how they recreated the scene of Carly Beth putting her own plaster head over her head. I did not picture it like this at all when I was a kid, but I love it. It really elevates that part of the story so much. So now every time I read this book, obviously I'm gonna picture that. But yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on the comic book. I just really enjoyed it, and I think more people should read it. Also, I want more Goosebumps comic books. I need every book to have one. But that's all I've got for you today. I have a Patreon. The $5 members get bonus content, plus videos a day, or leave maybe some pictures of my cats, a Discord server, and your name right here on screen. Like the video if you liked the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and